One of the more interesting diplomatic maneuvers of recent times took place when the State Department complained about radiation being aimed at our embassy in Moscow, but at the same time said there was no connection between the Russian radiation and illness and blood abnormalities found among Americans in the embassy. The fact is, radiation involves something called microwaves, and there are differing views on how much radiation is bad for your health. Robert Bazell has been looking into this.
The television picture you're watching is transmitted from a tower like this one by a type of radiation called microwaves. Microwaves are beamed throughout our environment. Besides radio and television signals, microwaves are also used for radar and for relaying long-distance telephone calls. The American embassy in Moscow. For years, the Russians bombarded it with microwave radiation. Many employees there developed blood problems. American officials protested, but also insisted there was no connection between the radiation and the problems. Still, after the incident was revealed, the U.S. government began measuring the levels of microwave radiation in the environment in this country. Inside certain tall buildings in several cities, including number 2 Biscayne Boulevard in Miami and the Sears Tower in Chicago, the government found levels of radiation 10 times higher than those that were beamed into the Moscow embassy. The radiation in these offices comes from nearby broadcast towers. No one has yet examined the office workers. But the official view is that even at these levels, there is no danger from the radiation.
Research to date has not demonstrated hazardous effects at the levels, even those measured in the Sears Tower.
But others have a different opinion. Dr. Milton Zared is an expert on the health effects of microwaves who has served as a consultant to the government.
The government officials don't have enough information to say that it's safe or without harmful effect.
What are some of the medical problems that could occur from chronic exposure to microwaves?
There are a whole host of medical problems. First of all, there's been a lot of work to show that the neurasthenic syndrome, which in our country we would call the anxiety state, is produced by chronic exposure to microwaves. Other things are birth defect problems, so that if any of the people working in that building that have been assured everything's fine have any, and if any of those women are pregnant, there could be a hazard to the offspring.
At Environmental Protection Agency laboratories in North Carolina, scientists have been exposing animals to microwave radiation at levels humans might ordinarily encounter. Several species have been used, and some of the results are startling.
What we have done is expose mice during their entire pregnancies to microwaves. When we examined the fetuses, we saw that there was a particular anomaly which was significant, and that was one in which the brain case has not fully closed and the brain is protruding from the skull.
The experiments with animals here don't yet prove that there's a hazard to humans from microwaves, but they suggest that there could be a problem. And a good deal more research needs to be done before we know for certain whether or not there's a danger to the many people who are exposed to microwave radiation. Robert Bazell, NBC News, Research Triangle Park, North Carolina.